Welcome to our special guest, Vargr. How's it going, pal?
It's going great. Good to be here.
We'll be ranking every single House of the Dragon episode so far. We'll be going through season 1 first, Vargr, and then we'll jump straight into season 2. The Heirs of the Dragon, season 1, episode 1. It kicked off with that, the joust. And I thought that was such an epic introduction back into Westeros, considering the shit that we'd had in Game of Thrones season 8. Then we had the prophecy stuff. I quite liked it.
I mean, it was organic, I'd say.
Yeah, it was really organic, and it really felt like it come from George. And I've got a feeling we're going to see that in the books as well. Thoughts?
I think it was a good episode. It brought us back to World of Westeros. I'd probably say A tier. I'd say they represent the characters well. They showed them off well.
I don't think it was the best episode of either season, but I definitely think it was pretty strong. But I think there are better episodes to come. Season 1, episode 2, The Rogue Prince. I remember one scene, and that's on the bridge.
We got introduced to the Triarchy, I believe. We had a few scenes from them at the end and in the beginning.
We had Daemon draw his sword, and then Rhaenyra kind of flew in on Syrax.
Most episodes in season 1 were great, so I'm trying not to rank them too highly. It was that bridge scene that was a standout. I'd probably say B.
Yeah, agree.
I don't think it was great as the first.
Fully agree with that though. B tier. Okay, moving swiftly on. Second of his name, season 1, episode 3.
This is the one where we had the battle between the Triarchy and Daemon.
Yep, engage in a brutal battle against the crab feeder. Daemon went on that solo run and dodged all those arrows, and then I thought that was pretty epic, to be fair. I guess the only part that wasn't so epic is when we cut away to him fighting the crab feeder. But I mean, what we're thinking in terms of ranking, because obviously we've got the battle. I thought it was a better episode than episode 2. It's probably on par with episode 1.
Yeah, I'd probably put it A. The battle alone was, again, amazing. Yeah, I don't think I have a bad thing to say about the episode. Obviously, no, I don't think I do. I would call it S tier, though. I don't think it's E's probably just behind.
We'll move on then. Season 1, episode 4, King of the Narrow Sea. I remember the start. That's about it. I remember Daemon arriving into the throne room. Doesn't he chuck the sword of the crab feeder or the crown of the crab feeder at Viserys' feet?
Yeah, he drops it and says, add it to the chair. Yeah, this was the episode where we saw Rhaenyra and Daemon's first outing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Outside, and then they snuck away late at night. She also gets with Kristen Cole, yeah.
And then she also gets told more about the prophecy of this episode as well.
I think this was the first reference we've heard of the prince that was promised and the dagger. The prophecy was on the dagger.
I don't remember the exact wording, though. But
from my blood comes the prince that was promised.
Oh, that's right.
And his will be the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, now you say it's coming back to me. I love this episode. It was more intrigue. I would put it in S tier.
All right, we'll go with your suggestion. We'll move on to 5. So we like the way. I must admit,
the wedding.
Alicent bursts in after finding out about Kristen and Rhaenyra in the green dress.
Daemon killing his wife.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Just casually does her with a rock out of nowhere. The fact that we actually got the Rogue Prince in season 1, I've got a feeling he actually meant to do it. At the wedding, he then goes on to taunt. Is it the Royce family?
Yes, the cousin.
Yeah, doesn't he start taunting him? Then do we go into the whole Alicent finding out about Rhaenyra with Daemon and Rhaenyra with Kristen? And then we get the wedding. Now, apart from the ending, I thought the whole kind of Alicent reveal with the dress, for some reason, I've always liked that kind of scene and the symbolism to it all.
The Hall of Nine specifically. It looked amazing. And there was a story behind everything that was in there.
I think the sets, the dragons, and like the costumes and the heraldry and stuff was on point throughout.
Another episode where there's no action, but there was a lot of, it brought you back to seasons 1 to 4.
I think so.
Game of Thrones.
I think it gets a lot of bad rep, this episode.
I mean, I can see why people find it boring, especially those that might want action. It was a great episode.
Yeah, I thought it was really good too.
Especially for a midway point.
Are we putting it top of A tier for now?
Oh, I don't think I can put it at the top of A tier after 3.
Okay, all right. We'll go with
before 3, actually. Yeah. I don't know.
I was thinking more before 3. I think it's very on par with number 1.
I mean, that's the thing with season 1, that there is a lot of great episodes.
I fully agree. I mean, probably the not so good episode was The Princess and the Queen. If I'm honest, I don't know if it's because of the massive time jump or the fact that young Rhaenyra and Alicent did such a great job. I can't quite put my finger on why this episode has never sat well with me.
I do think they could have done the introductions of the older characters better. The one problem that I have is it's actually to do with characters' ages. Across the board, we've got characters that in the books are either a lot younger or a lot older than they should be. I don't know why they're making those choices. It was an okay episode. I wouldn't say it was bad.
Because we start out with the whole Harwin thing. It's kind of inadvertently revealed that he's the father of the kids. Then we get Rhaenyra's giving birth.
Yeah, so we start off with Rhaenyra giving birth to Joffrey, and then Alicent calls them up to be introduced to the child. I do remember it a lot. I remember this episode probably a lot more than most, but it doesn't. Yeah, I think it's decent. But what really happened this episode is probably the question.
Most of them, I can remember the start and I can remember the end. With this one, I remember the start with the pregnancy, but I don't remember the end. And I'm just going to.
That's right. We got the Harwin death and the Laena death. I think it would have been a lot more impactful if we saw Harwin a lot earlier. I mean, with Laena, we saw her now and then throughout the episodes from episode 1 to episode 6. With Harwin, we saw him partially, but he had no interaction with the main characters except Larys. But yeah, I think episode 6 is an okay episode. We put C tier.
Is this the episode where Laena basically gets the dragon to burn her?
Yeah, she wants to die the Dragon Rider's way.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've got our first C tier here. I think C tier is fair for The Princess and the Queen. Now we're starting to kind of ramp up to the best episodes, I think, of the season 1. One of those, in my eyes, was Driftmark.
I agree, yeah.
This was Laena's funeral. Laenor fakes his death, and this was the marriage between Rhaenyra and Daemon, I think, as well, all in one episode. As an episode, I thought it was really well done, but knowing what we know, having read the books, it doesn't throw a massive spanner in the whole continuity between Adam and the whole dragon thing, and whether Adam is his son and whether he's not his son.
I liked the faking of it because I thought, oh, he's going to come back. But I think now that season 2's over, it really undermines his character. Lucerys was his son, so you'd think he'd come back for that. And then it's rumored that he might be dead. And then at that point, you're like, well, not just have Rhaenyra and Daemon kill him. And then, it's one of those things where they didn't want to kill off another gay character. Because obviously Joffrey's death in episode 5, he could have been a great addition to season 2. I mean, not only did his son die, but his mother died. So you'd think, oh, he's going to come along, isn't he? But
I think now it almost doesn't make sense that he's alive because of the whole, how is Adam able to claim the dragon? It's not clear, is it? And I just
I think that was the situation with season 2 overall. It was a lot of show, tell not show.
100%, 100%.
I was waiting those 2 years for that line.
Exactly. That's the only reason why I watched the damn show, just for that line.
I wanted it in episode 10. I thought we were getting it in episode 1. What is it? An eye for an eye, a son for a son? Lucerys will be avenged.
That's the one.
I not get it.
That's the one.
Instead, we get a son for a son.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, without the full sentence, it doesn't really hit well.
It doesn't hit well, and having Rhaenyra say it and not Daemon, and having it said in episode 8 was a bit weird.
But yeah, episode 7, I mean, the Laenor stuff doesn't overall diminish it for me. I mean, there was a lot of great scenes in it. We got the taming of Vargr, we have the taming of the dragon, and then girls and boys gather around Aemon and beat him up. Lucerys takes his eye, and then we have that scene in the Hall of Nine again, which is a great room.
Yeah, no, I agree. Bloody hell, a lot happened in that episode. My God, a lot happened.
I think, that dragon taming of Vargr is forever etched in my mind because it is just amazing. Episode 7, a lot happened, and we got the wedding between.
I think the wedding, and when they start chatting, with that speech in High Valyrian, it just, every time I watch it, man, it just sends shivers up my spine.
I mean, something about High Valyrian is just amazing.
It was peak House of the Dragon. That was.
But it's really only between Rhaenyra and Daemon.
Yeah.
So it's like their love language.
I like it, man. Yeah, the love language. I'm feeling that. Loving that. Up until this point, I thought it was a very good change from the books. In the books, it was very ambiguous as to whether Laenor died. In the show, he sails off. I thought it was very well done.
I did think it was very well done, but I do think they should have even killed him then.
Does that sour this episode for you then? A
lot happened this episode. It was obviously a big part of the episode, but I wouldn't say it was the best. It wasn't the greatest. It wasn't all important, I suppose.
Got you. But, so where's it going then? I mean, the all important question is it an A tier? Is it a low S tier? Where are we thinking? Because I'm on the fence. I'm kind of edging towards upper A tier.
Yeah, I mean, I would say high A tier.
Agree.
Yeah, I think high A is a great spot for it.
High A. Let's go with that. Right. Arguably, you fucking know this. You know what's going here, man. I'm telling you. I'm just going to rest it there for now. Over to you, Pat.
I mean, I agree. Over
to you. I've got to get this in right. I watched the scene the other day with the missus because I got the community head-to-head thing going on. And I was at 50-50, and there was some 60 votes or something, and it was 50-50 after 60 votes. So I got the missus upstairs, and I said to the wife, I was like, you've got to pick which one takes the win. And I played a Blackwater when the ship blows up, and then I played it when Viserys drops into that room, man. And I swear to God, I fucking loved it. I loved it.
I mean, I think that's a point-out scene where everyone loves it. I mean, it's a scene to make a grown man cry. Okay,
it really is, man.
You just see this man is broken, but he's still willing to help his daughter.
Yeah.
And that scene alone brings it to S tier.
That's for sure.
And that's a culmination of all 8 episodes leading up to this point.
And actually, the other scene that I enjoyed was when Rhaenyra went to Viserys just before this and starts pleading with him, and the whole emotional scene about her legitimacy and the children's legitimacy and all of that. And I thought that was such a good build-up. It just came out of nowhere for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first moment she also doubts whether she even wants it, because she says, it's too heavy.
Yeah, that's true.
Do I even want this? A great scene. We got a good insight into who Jace was when he's learning High Valyrian.
That's true.
And he's like, a king should honour his ancestors. We've got the dinner scene, another great Viserys scene.
I actually like the way that it ended very ambiguously as well. We get the whole Viserys death, don't we?
I'm on the fence about that scene. I think this was the point where maybe the prophecy was becoming too involved. Everything just appears to happen by accident. And I think that's an outcome of both seasons.
How I look at it, right, is would it happen in real life, quote unquote real life? Yeah, you're right.
We're talking about an entire war, and it happens because, Alicent just happened to mishear her husband. It doesn't bring the episode down for me. I'd still say it's S tier, one of the greatest episodes in season 1.
One of? It's not your favourite then? We're getting onto your favourite, or we had your favourite already?
I mean, I think we've had my favourite. They're really tied, King of the Narrow Sea and Lord of the Tides, for me.
All right, they're kind of there. They're kind of on par then.
Yeah, I'd say Lord of the Tides is slightly, episode slightly maybe better, but still they're kind of on par.
I mean, we get the hallway scene, we get the dinner scene, we get,
Daemon just losing his head.
Oh my God, yes. Yes. Whack straight off and keep his tongue. Bang a line.
Another great rogue scene, rogue prince.
Rogue prince scene, yeah.
And the look of Aemon's face, you can tell he looks up kind of to Daemon, whether as a challenge or as a only warrior, apart from him in the Targaryen family.
Yeah, you can tell it's my God, that's my idol right there. Okay, S tier. Yeah, okay.
9, it's probably D tier for me.
Do I have to ask why, or is it obvious why?
I don't think it flowed as well as the other episodes. There was that scene with the dragon.
That's what I was going to start with.
Where it was, I got season 7, 8 flashbacks. And I think this is the moment where, granted, episode 10 was good, but I think this is where the show started to go kind of down. Perhaps they hadn't learned from mistakes made in Game of Thrones.
It did feel like George wasn't consulted on this episode.
Yeah, I don't think the plot was good either. Otto and Alison looking for the same person, but apparently working separately to find him, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, just D-tier.
It was an okay episode with a really poor ending. And I think that was a lot of what we got in season 2. It was almost a forgettable episode with a real shoddy ending that massively changes what happens in the books just for shock value. If it doesn't really matter for me how well the episode was, that ending just shit the bed, really.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking just about what could have been. Like, we could have got great introductions and further building on these characters in Team Green, but instead we got a goose chase.
We'll have our first D tier and we'll move on to the Black Queen.
I like this episode. I don't know what to rank it though.
It's a tough one, man, because we get the crowning of Aegon, or like the aftermath of the crowning. We get the crowning of Rhaenyra, do we?
So yeah, in episode 9 we get the crowning of Aegon at the end, where they're obviously crashing through the room. Episode 10 starts off with a scene between Lucerys and Rhaenyra, you know, sticking to the way he's always been. He doesn't want Driftmark.
Yeah.
Obviously in episode 7, when he was a kid, he said he didn't want it to call us.
Sounds like bloody Jon Snow.
With Lucerys, it was a bit understandable because he said, you know, if I rule, then that means everyone before me is dead.
Yes, I remember that line now.
So, well, Jon just says it, you know, because Jon is Jon in episode 8. With Lucerys, it's more understandable. He's young, he's unsure of himself.
We got the scene with
Rhaenys returns, yeah, informs Daemon and Rhaenyra of Viserys' death and Aegon's crowning. The look on Daemon's face, you could just tell he's not a happy guy.
We get the Green Council scene with Otto, and I think Alison is there, or she's late, or
where they inform the council of the death of Viserys. Yeah, that was the scene where Harold removes his cloak and Beesbury dies. Yeah.
I mean, just touching on that Beesbury one, I did prefer how Mushroom says he dies, which was in the book. Kristen Cole throws him out the window. I did prefer that. Some of what
again, it was another accident scene. Yeah, where we're getting this thing where it's all an accident when it comes to Kristen Cole. It's all an accident when it comes to Alison.
Because we get the scene with Lucerys arrives on Dragonback to finally we get Storm's End, and we speak to
Boris. Which, I mean, I wish they included his line, but instead they said, "Tell your mother that Storm's End is not some dog to be whistled." In the book, it might have been "Tell the bitch your mother" or something like that.
Yeah, tell your bitch mother.
I think if we go to that Aemond Lucerys, it was a great scene.
CGI was on point. Let's just throw that out there.
Aegon looked menacing as ever, and I think this is the thing with dragons overall in this series. They're too small. If we look at Jace's dragon in episode 10 when they're flying off, it looked like a decently sized dragon, and he's 15. Lucerys is only a year younger, and Arax looks tiny.
Yeah, he looked ridiculously small. Like Vargr could have swallowed it whole, I think. What I didn't like about this episode, and go back to your point, was it was an accident.
Yeah.
It's never sat well with me, that the fact that Aemond accidentally killed Lucerys.
And I think this is, I mean, I've defended it in the past where a lot of the book is, you know, you don't really know what happened. So there's a lot of, you can change it. I've used that defense before, but I think now it's really at its detriment where they keep changing stuff.
Yeah, you're right. But for what we know in the book, don't change the things we do know.
What did you think about the last scene with Rhaenyra learning of Lucerys' death? Because I think it causes great, I mean, looking back at it, especially, it's not as impactful as maybe it was when season 1 aired.
You're very right. I didn't get it at the time. I just thought, I was expecting her to be more emotional.
Yeah, well, I think the original scene was meant to be Daemon telling her, and you see her like in person instead of them just muting.
Yeah, I think that would have been more impactful. I know we got the kind of emotional look from Rhaenyra, but I just don't know. It didn't do much for me.
But yeah, overall, what do you think of the episode?
I think it's probably A tier. I would say it's probably between Heirs of the Dragon and We Light the Way.
So I agree. I'd rate it between 1 and 5.
It's not a bad episode.
Not bad. No, a lot happened.
A lot of good stuff happened. Yeah, season 2. Let's move on.
I mean, overall, the North stuff this season, I thought we were going to get Jace a lot more in the North because obviously there was a lot of stuff with Jace in the North.
And Sarah and
I mean, overall, what they've done with Jace, they've given his stuff to other characters. I think he's smart stuff, at least. He's intelligent, but they've given some things to Rhaenyra. And then obviously there's a few Otto stuff that they've given to Aemond.
Yeah.
It was a good scene, but I thought we would have more of it.
Agree.
If we go back, there was a lot of scenes that could have been replaced.
Oh, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%, man.
You know, if Jace was around Dragonstone for the entire season, so it's just.
Well, you think up until maybe the Red Sowing, he doesn't do anything. And
he comes up with a lot of the stuff. He does speak with Rhaenyra and comes up with a lot of like the Dragon Seed thing from Noble Lines was his decision. He's kind of thinking.
He goes to the twins and he comes up with the Dragon Seeds. Those are the only two things that I can see he's done. Yeah, but you think it's taken him like 4 or 5 episodes to do that? Like, we could have had the whole Sarah Snow, we could have had the Pact of Ice and Fire. We didn't even get that. And that is like, that's an actual legitimate tie-in with Aegon's prophecy. I would have been happy with that.
Yeah, I think if we look at the book, there's a lot of things that Cregan did later on in the dance because of his relationship with Jace. It's just the Winterfell. Well, it's not even Winterfell stuff, is it? It's the Night's Watch stuff. It just could have been a lot better. I don't know what to say about it. Really, it's just disappointing.
You're right, man. It's like he hasn't really accomplished that much. He hasn't brought much to the table. Jace, I'm talking about. If we would have got more of him fleshed out with Cregan and Sarah and the whole pack thing, I reckon
They may be able to redeem themselves in season 3 though, because I'm pretty sure the Gullet is not the first thing that's happening.
You don't think?
I have a feeling they're going to get King's Landing first, because
Rhaenyra
Rhaenyra's talking about capturing King's Landing in 3 days.
got you, and it's going to take more than 3 days, likely to.
Yeah, and obviously it's going to take. If they're actually doing proper travel times, it'll take a couple of months for the Triarchy to reach where they got to go.
True.
But obviously they don't do time correctly, so it'll probably take 2 weeks.
Yeah, or 1 episode. Yeah,
or the same episode. Yeah, I think episode 1. What else happened?
we get a lot of almost reintroductions to the characters. We get Aegon in a better light actually in this episode.
We do. Aegon came up top as my favorite character in season 2.
100% agree.
It brings me back to season 1, episode 9. If they didn't include, and episode 8 really, if they didn't include like the rapey stuff.
Yeah, to try and badmouth him or kind of cast him in this dark light. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what held a lot of people back this season about Aegon, was the fact of his behaviour in those 2 episodes, and all of a sudden
it has soured him, and they've tried to cast him in.
Yeah, but I mean, he was great.
We get the Rhaenyra grieving. We get the first small council scenes where he brings Aemond into the council. We get Larys talking with Aegon and saying and casting doubts about Otto.
Yeah, we got a scene between Daemon and Rhaenys.
Don't we get that scene with Aegon in the throne room talking with the small folk and Hugh the Hammer?
Yeah, Hugh. Yeah, got introduced to Hugh, it was a good introduction.
Yeah, that was cool. I tell you what, we also get in episode 1 is the reveal that Alicent and Kristen have been banging, which came out of nowhere.
I don't know. It just diminishes their character because it just makes them hypocrites, especially Alicent. I mean,
what else were they meant to give them to do rather than each other?
I mean, that is true. Yeah, goes back to even making Alicent a main character in season 2 because she doesn't really do much.
You're right. It does go from Rhaenyra versus Alicent in season 1 to Rhaenyra versus Aegon in season 2.
Yeah, man, I've always said this. They should have marketed it Rhaenyra versus Aegon.
Agree.
That's the way it's always been. But
Agree.
Now it's just Rhaenyra versus Alicent.
Agree. And right now it's Rhaenyra and Alicent.
Aemond.
Yeah, exactly. Versus Aemond.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to that Rhaenys and Daemon scene, I think it was the first time where we're just getting disrespect towards Daemon. I don't know, just no one's listening to him. You know, he's meant to be the king consort, and Rhaenys is saying, "Oh, I'm not listening to you because you're not the king." This man's a war leader. You know, he's been to war. He's your most experienced warrior.
He's proven himself. He's won stuff.
Rhaenys has never been to war, and I think that was a mistake in the show. They kept saying that, oh, she's been to war, or you know.
Do you think this season has been a lot of women want peace and men want war?
I mean, yeah, I think I said it in the comments of one of your live streams.
I think you did, and it's just what I've been reminded of.
And they constantly mention it.
And Rhaenyra can't make a decision to go to war, whereas in the book she's absolutely fucking ruthless.
I mean, we got blood and cheese. So I think that was the.
Yeah, let's talk blood and cheese then.
Let's talk blood and cheese.
I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch this live. After they butchered blood and cheese, I thought, fuck that, I'm not doing this for the next 7 weeks. I thought the build up was weird. The fact that we didn't get the sun for a sun line, and the execution was poorly done, man.
Yeah, I mean, blood and cheese is if we're talking the show, it's not really memorable.
And compared to the books,
it's pretty memorable in the books because it leads to all this conflict. Whereas this season has just been proven to be that Jacaerys didn't matter and Lucerys didn't matter. It was just kept going on as normal. What would you rate episode 1?
On the whole, the episode was okay. It was probably.
I'd probably put it top of C.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Yeah, season 2 episode.
This was the aftermath of Jacaerys' death, right?
Correct.
Where we got an impactful, Aegon destroying his father's
the model,
which I think shows, he partly blames Viserys for all this happening.
Oh, I like that. Oh, yeah, I agree. I remember the start and I remember the end again. And in the middle is a bit hazy, but yeah, that start, the aftermath of Blood and Cheese was better than Blood and Cheese.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think if we didn't have that emotion coming from Aegon specifically, I don't think Blood and Cheese would have hit.
And if I jump to the end with that, arguably probably my favourite scene of the entire season with Aegon and Otto going at it, and then Aegon basically sacks Otto off, dismissing Otto. That was perfectly done in my eyes.
Kristen Cole, then you got Kristen Cole just failing upwards. We got the twins this episode.
Yes, and we got the funeral where I thought the head was going to fall off the baby.
Yeah, I mean, I was constantly going, don't do that. Poor Helena's seen enough. God, she's seen the thing cut off. Don't make it fall. But no, I think the twins death caused a lot of confusion for everyone because they weren't sure who died.
Agreed.
Some were saying Eric, some were saying Eric, but then I'm like, well, I think it was obviously Eric because otherwise wouldn't Eric finish the job? I think a really good scene was between Kristen and Eric before he's sent.
Yeah, I agree. Isn't that where he convinces him to go to Dragonstone as well and pose as his brother?
Yeah,
it doesn't feel out of place. I thought it felt quite organic.
And I think overall this is probably for me the best, probably the second best episode of the season.
I fully agree.
I just remember there was episode 4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the start and the finish for me, and now you've reminded me of the odd scene in the middle as well. Mm-hmm. And by the end, I mean both Aegon scenes for me. Yeah, this was probably peak acting for me.
Aegon, he definitely made the episode great. I think without him, it would have been,
Yeah, it would have been a very, very mid episode. I mean, I'm thinking of dropping it in A tier. I think it's an A tier episode between 10 and 5, but I'm open to hear your opinion on this one. I kind of want to push it more to the left.
I'd kind of say Second of His Name is moved just above it, episode 3.
So it's here.
Yeah, and episode 5 just after that. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, okay, we'll take that. Burning Mill.
What happened?
We got another cutaway of the battle.
Right. Oh yeah, the battle.
The Blackwoods and the Brackens, and that was gritted, man.
I was okay at
gutted.
first because I thought you'd have another battle after episode 4.
Yep.
I thought there was, we're obviously going to probably get a later battle. First, I thought it was the Gullet, but I think there was another battle that was meant to take place before that. That just didn't. But I don't know. We got Daemon Dreams as well, didn't we?
Was this the whole? Oh, because he lands in Harrenhal. Is
Yeah,
this the one when he's in that badass Valyrian armor and he's?
Yeah, the Harrenhal landing was great. I like that scene. It kind of reminded me of Dark Souls.
Oh yeah,
or Elden Ring.
Yeah. And anything with that Valyrian steel armor for me as well, and seeing Caraxes.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said before, I think now that we have the whole season, it's kind of like, were some of these dreams really necessary? What dreams did we get?
The Blackwoods and the Brackens. We get Kristen Cole's first council as Hand, and I think there was the whole plan with Aemon comes in and he kind of takes center stage, and he was like, "We've got to attack the Riverlands."
Yeah, I think that scene just shows Kristen's inadequacies of being Hand.
Correct.
He's a warrior. He's not necessarily a politician.
Aemon's just ruled the roost with everything. I can't remember. I tell you what, actually, we did get, and it's why it's arguably one of the worst episodes of the season, is the end scene with Alicent and Rhaenyra in the fucking sept.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, sorry to remind you, pal. And again, it was another okay episode with just a shit ending.
Yeah,
I think I fully agree. I'm even considering it high D. Yeah, so I think
I say we keep it in C for now. It might go down to D.
I agree. I think we'll keep it in C, and we'll move on to Rook's Rest, the red dragon and the gold. I'll let you kick this one off.
It was a great dragon fight. What did happen the rest of the episode before that?
I couldn't tell you. Honestly, I couldn't.
I can tell you how it started, to be honest with you. I will say my favourite scene wasn't actually the battle. It was the thing leading up to it, which was this moment between Aegon and Goldfire. Or not Goldfire, Sunfire.
Sunfire, yep.
Where you can just see the love that Sunfire has for Aegon. And it's the only bit of love he has in the entire show is his dragon.
That's true, yeah.
Which brings you back to which brings you to a scene later on with Larys where before anything Aegon says his dragon is dead and he is alone. And he's like, oh.
He's lost his love, isn't he? He's only love in the world. He doesn't care about his sister or his mom or his wife or his brother or his son that's died. I tell you what did happen in this episode. We get that kind of awkward scene where Rhaenyra isn't at the Black Council table and it's left up to Rhaenys and Jace and Rhaena to kind of...
Baelor.
Oh, Baelor, that's the one. Sorry, I always get them mixed up. To rally the Black Council.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it feels like they're probably giving Baelor more of a spotlight than she should have. Like maybe that dialogue should go to Jace as he is the heir, but instead you've got Baelor talking.
Agree.
While Jace is just standing in the background.
Rook's Rest was pretty fire.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty fire, yeah.
And what I did like actually was the aftermath where during it, where they didn't accidentally show Aemon burning Aegon, and the whole where he had his blade drawn and he was going to go over to Aegon and basically finish the job.
So I don't think he was, because it looked like he was drawing his weapon before Kristen yelled at him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, he was going over it and he was drawing his weapon to go and...
No, I mean like he was sheathing it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got mixed feelings on him betraying Aegon, because I'm just thinking, would Aemon do that in the book?
It's true. Yeah.
And I don't think he would.
I guess in the context of the show, they have set him up, so it half makes sense.
Yeah, which I mean is my problem with season 2.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he's everyone's villain, isn't he?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but if I take the battle at face value, it was amazing.
Are we saying S tier? Because
I wouldn't put it S tier.
No, I wouldn't either.
I don't think anything this season comes to S tier. I'd probably put it
after Driftmark, maybe.
After Driftmark, yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll have it as there.
Yeah, I don't think we'll find another S tier.
No, there certainly is. I mean, no, and I think this is where the season starts to go downhill. Maybe apart from the Dragon Seed part.
Yeah, well, episode 4 was the shift of Aemon maybe being a anti-hero, whatever you want to call it, to a proper villain.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Right, episode 5.
Episode 5.
Was,
do you know what? You'd think that you'd know more as the episodes go on, but I'm just knowing less now.
I agree. It's almost like I would have hoped for recency bias, but
episode 8 was only 2 weeks ago.
We get Corlys and Rhaenys. Oh, Corlys and the aftermath of Rhaenys' death. We get the parade of Maelys, which I thought actually was pretty well done.
It was well done. I don't think Aemon would have done it.
Yeah, you're still kind of on the fence about the whole motivation to.
Well, you got to think dragons. The Targaryens are linked to the dragons at a deeper level than anyone else. So why would Aemon, who's connected to Vargr, want a dragon's head paraded through the city? You got to think that they're seen as gods to the small folk as well.
That's true. It's almost like belittling the...
I can understand if it was Cole's decision because he's not a dragon rider, but at this point, I assume Aemon's the one that's given the commands.
Yeah,
I don't see a Dragon Rider making that decision.
it's true. Then we had a bunch of scenes with Alicent basically knowing that Aemond did this to Aegon because he's got the dagger.
Yeah.
And then we had the scene with Alicent and Aemond around the bed. And Aemond comes out with some line like, someone will have to rule in his place. I think that's what he said.
Yeah,
Basically implies that it was his plan all along.
I mean, I can see it being a plan maybe in the moment, but obviously he didn't know Aegon was going there. So
you're right.
Yeah.
We get the unrest at the Black Council. We get Daemon and the Brackens. We get that cool shot of Cyrax
Oh yeah,
looking at.
where they did an ambiguous scene with Daemon again, didn't they?
Correct. Yeah. Another pull away before he says what he's meant to say.
Yeah, I don't think it was a pull away this time. I think it was just like implying to do something, but not actually. I don't know. The delivery didn't really make it sound like it was anything bad. It was strange though, because when he was approached by the lords at the end of the episode, one of them said, "The Blackwoods proudly displayed banners of House Targaryen." And I'm just thinking back to that scene with Willem. He said specifically, "There are things the crown must not be seen to do." So Willem decides to then fly the banner.
That's a very good point. It's like Willem's gone against.
And I don't know if it's Willem going against him, or it's just the writers forgetting.
I wouldn't put it past them this season.
You know, obviously I don't want to give the writers too much crap, but a lot of these scenes did not make sense.
No, I think it's been a season full of scenes not making sense. Another scene that was a bit not vulgar, but was a bit unnecessary was that Daemon scene.
Oh, do you mean him and Alyssa?
Him and yes.
You know what, for a moment I thought you were going to bring up that Aegon and Aemon scene in the thing in the brothel, but I remember that was
quite funny. That was, to be fair.
Yeah, we got pole smoking on live television.
Yeah, exactly.
I see that on Sky. I mean, I agree. Maybe it wasn't needed.
I mean, what's your thoughts on the visions, right? Because I know we're going to get to the whole White Walker ones later on, but
the visions. I mean, I was okay with them because I thought they would lead somewhere.
Yeah.
Looking back, there's a lot of them. I can understand a few of them.
I like the Viserys ones.
Yeah, I like the Viserys ones and the Rhaenyra ones.
Yep, they make sense. Correct.
I didn't understand this scene.
Agreed.
I don't know what it was meant to represent. I know maybe it was because he never met his mother, which I mean, in season 1, he was apparently her favorite child. So
yeah, I always thought he knew his mother because he was the favorite.
Well, in the book, she died when he was 3 after giving birth to Aegon. But in the show in episode 4, Viserys made it sound like she'd lived longer because he was saying, "Oh, she always loved Daemon's like maybe warrior spirit, his carelessness, selfishness. I don't know which one." Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's one of those things where maybe the writers forgot what they said.
I agree here. I mean, in terms of ranking, where are you thinking? I don't think it's as bad as A Son for a Son.
No, but I'll put it B tier.
Yeah, I think we'll go B tier after the Road Prince though. Episode 6, Small Folk. Again, I can't really remember much of what happens other than 2 scenes in particular. One was Sea Smoke claiming Adam, which just completely just fucking baffles me to this day about how that happened and why it happened.
I think in show wise, I think because Adam is Cordis' son, maybe he smelt the blood.
Maybe the fact that he's Laenor's kind of brother.
There's a few complaints I have with Adam and Adam this season, especially their ages.
Haven't they been massively aged compared?
Well, Adam and Alan are meant to be around Jacaerys' age. They're meant to be teenagers.
Yeah,
but here it looks like Alan's in his 40s and Adam's in his late 20s.
Yeah, so like Corlys has had him like decades ago.
I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if it's because the actors, that they're prominent actors or something. But I thought usually when they do casting, they do it for a certain age.
Yeah. Well, one scene I don't remember was that kiss between Rhaenyra and Massaria, which again was never brought up again. It just came out of nowhere and it was a bit weird.
From what I've seen, like behind the scenes, is that apparently the actor that played Rhaenyra said it just felt right.
Oh, for God's sake!
And I'm just like, well, are you the writer?
I know, I know. Throwing shit in that they want now. So Stefan, we had the kiss. We had Adam claiming, Sea Smoke claiming Adam, which I thought was just weird.
Oh, we had the Viserys scene, didn't we, with Daemon in the throne room?
Correct. I thought that was good.
I did. It was like replaying lines from episode 1. There was like a lot more emotion to it.
Correct.
Like you could see Daemon's emotion by saying, "Don't do this."
Those were the ones that made the most impact for me, and those were the ones that made the most sense as well as to why we were seeing these.
Yeah, and this was one of his last dreams as well. Yeah, episode 6, not memorable enough.
I agree. I think too much bad happened. I would probably put it either the end of C tier or even at the start of D tier for me. Right, the Red Sewing is probably top 3. In fact, there isn't. No, I'd probably say on par with Rhaenyra the Cruel in my eyes. That is, we get that badass scene with Oscar Tully. We get the Dragon Seed stuff, and
I might be the only one that thinks this. I didn't like the Oscar Tully scene.
Got ya.
I felt it undermined Daemon's character a lot. Again, we're seeing this constant, throughout the season, we're just seeing this constant, everyone's shitting on Daemon.
You are right.
Daemon is the most experienced at war than anyone in his room, and you're shitting on him. So it's. You
are right. They have actually gone a complete 180, haven't they?
80 years. They've been at peace for 80 years, and Daemon's the only one who's been to war in the Stepstones. He's the only one with a dragon rider, a dragon with war experience, except Vargr. So it's, and maybe I don't know if Dreamfire went to battle or not. Too much of a punching bag.
Yeah, he's been too much of a punching bag this season because he was too much of a cool dude, badass, proper bloke last season.
They want
demasculated
Damon
him.
to appear like an idiot.
Yeah.
To prop up Alicent and Rhaenyra.
Yeah. And Alice as well. Because I remember actually, it might have even been this episode where he starts asking Alice Rivers for help. And I'm thinking, the Rogue Prince I know would never ask someone like Alice Rivers for help.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think back to season 1. Damon hated having to ask for help. You know, we've seen many times where Damon is constantly going against what should be done and instead going like the harder route.
Yeah, and doing his own thing.
So I can't see him saying, I need help. Like, specifically, I need help. I can see him maybe like saying it in a different way that didn't make it sound like he wanted help.
Yep.
But I can't see him saying, truthfully, I need help. That just doesn't seem like something he'd do.
Agree.
And I mean, you've got this 14-year-old piss shitting on him in front of these river lords, and I just think Damon needs to start taking heads to show that he's in control. But no, I didn't like that scene. It was annoying me. It was frustrating me.
Don't get me wrong. I guess I still enjoyed the scene, and he does stand up to Damon. But you're right; it does come across as Damon's a bit of a loser. And
yeah, I mean, it's not just him either. It's like all of them. They're all shitting on him except for Willem, whereas the other ones are just disrespecting him. So it's like, come on, this is the Rogue Prince here. The man took someone's head for calling his wife a whore. Okay, don't think he won't do anything to you.
It's true. What about the dragon seed piece? I thought the dragons looked absolutely peak.
I thought they looked really Silverwing looked. Oh,
so
that's a menacing dragon.
So good. So good.
All in the dark. I liked how Hugh claimed Vermithor.
Yeah.
I don't understand why she didn't send them in one by one.
In fact, I liked how the pair of them claimed the dragons, and it was in a very different way.
Yeah, I liked them. They were great scene, especially that scene. It was great. I don't understand why they all hovered around a dragon.
That's true. Yeah, I thought the ending part was slightly weird with Aemond riding out on Vargr just to kind of catch a glimpse of Rhaenyra's new dragon army.
My issue with that is that Dragonstone isn't just like across the pond.
Yeah.
You know, it's a couple 100 miles still. So you're telling me he chased Ulf all the way.
It's not like Dover to France, is it? It's like
I think it's more compared to like UK to USA, maybe.
Oh, really? But even still, like just nipping over on the Vargr Express. What we're feeling in terms of a ranking then?
B.
Yeah, high B.
Yeah.
I think high B. I mean, I think not as good as the Rogue Prince. You know what? Actually, I'm thinking we put it above the Black Queen. I think we move the Black Queen to B, and we have it as in fact, we'll have it as a high B, and we'll move the Black Queen.
Yeah, that's great.
That looks great.
Oh, and then there's.
So, are we going to do it? Are we going to finish? Are we going to finish with the Queen, whoever was? Which I don't even like the title. I'm just
bottom of D.
Bottom of D.
I don't know what they were thinking.
By far, this is the worst episode out of the lot of them because it didn't make sense. It reminds me of Game of Thrones season 8. Some of the decisions they've made, like micro decisions for the episode, didn't make sense, like the Rhaenyra and the Alicent scene. But macro decisions, reintroducing the White Walkers, the shit flavor cherry on top of this.
See, I don't mind the prophecy in season 1 where it's like it's there, but it's not constantly mentioned. With episode 8, they really need to start moving away from season 8, and they keep going further into it. Showing the White Walkers, showing the death of the dragons. Helena all of a sudden speaking properly.
Yeah, she's gone from riddles to
she's the show's spoiler. Aemon's all of a sudden the villain. You've got Helena who apparently doesn't even care about her bloody son. You know.
Yeah, a lot of people either went out the window or didn't make sense. Even that scene we got with Aemond and him kind of blowing up Sharp Point. I just thought, why show us that off screen?
Like people didn't even know. You didn't even know it was Sharp Point until someone mentioned it.
To a normie viewer, I mean, I was watching it with the wife, and she said to me, "Why is he just blowing that city up?"
Was it burned in the book?
It was a different town that was burnt in the book.
Oh, how's about Aemon? There you go.
That's the one.
Did you have any highlights of this episode?
You know what? In the context of just the episode, I didn't think the trailer, the montage, was bad. It was a nice trailer. That's all I can say.
Well, I think that's the issue, right? Is that it's a trailer.
I thought the Alan scene actually was good, where he just lets loose on Corlys.
Yeah, I think the Alan actor is amazing.
Yeah, he's done a pretty good job, actually. The other thing I did like as well was after we got over the confusing part of Gawain Hightower finding out about Kristen and Alicent, Kristen did have some pretty clever stuff to say about Alicent being the beacon, and I like the play on words, linking it to the Hightower sigil and stuff.
I mean, Kristen, the second half of season 2, has been good.
He has been good. The whole realization.
You can see that after Burning Mill, he just doesn't, not Burning Mill, and Rook's Rest, he just doesn't care anymore.
Right.
He's willing to give up his life.
He knows it's inevitable, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, what was the line he said? It's like dragons dance and we're nothing but something under their feet. Dust under their feet?
Dust under their feet or something like that. Yeah, I thought it was a great... Any highlights for you before we finish off?
I liked the Daemon scene with Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
It was a bit iffy at moments. He's meant to be rogue, you know, but it looks like they've thrown that rogue part of him away.
Yeah,
kind
I
of.
think it's
And now he's
almost
guided by destiny, and it's just
that's annoyed me, that part.
yeah, it's just I don't know why they showed all the dreams just to show a recap of season 8.
You're right. And what I said in the review was, imagine we would have got those visions at the start, and he's always
Yeah.
got that at the back of his mind. At least in my eyes, that would have always kind of made him torn between prophecy, his own thoughts, and what other people are trying to tell him.
I mean, Damon's meant to be unpredictable, so it's and even that even comes with loyalty. So it's just like to throw that unpredictability away. You're
You're
left
right.
with a Jon Snow character.
Exactly. He's a bit of a bitch now, isn't he? He's like Rhaenyra's
Yeah, it's just like why are you
whipping
bending
boy.
your knee? Pick yourself back up. Like,
Yeah, have some respect for yourself. Flat out though, worst episode of the season by far. Worst episode, in fact, of the show
and
so far.
yeah, I feel they should have shown a battle. Yeah, you got all these armies marching to the same position. You know, you could have shown that in episode 7 for a big
100%.
battle in episode 8.
100%.
You have this Daemon and Rhaenyra moment happen first, like second scene of the episode, and then you can have a battle as like the last scene, and maybe end on a cliffhanger of the battle.
Agreed.
Like, oh, is this character about to die? You know, that type of cliffhanger.
Exactly.
And that
Or
would get people excited. But
even end it on the gully.
yeah, I think there should have been a lot more action this season.
100%.
Last season was meant to be the season that prepared us for everything, and then we move into this season. You know, we had that the Eyes of Rhaenyra at episode 10 of season 1. You know, oh, this is it. Episode 1 comes along, season 2. She's grieving. She's like, okay, that's understandable. Episode 2 comes along. Oh, we're not going to war then.
Exactly. Complete.
Episode 3, are we still not going to war? Episode 4, oh, we're still preparing for war. Okay. Episode 5, nope, still no war.
even episode 8, she's talking about, oh yeah, in 2 or 3 days we're going to go to.
Can we get a significant battle, please?
I know, yeah. Can we get some urgency, please?
Like, Rhaenyra, you're about to die.
Exactly. Can I just have 2 days? Exactly. Have a couple of days to make a decision, please.
It's like, God, do you need a memory refresh every episode? Like, this happened at the end. Your son died. Can we have some anger?
Exactly.
And then, oh, Alicent in episode 8. Can we talk about it? Giving up her sons.
It's just
the very sons that she was afraid Rhaenyra would kill in season 1, and now she's
doesn't make sense.
fully saying, "Oh, you can kill them now."
It doesn't make sense. It's so anti-Alicent. It completely breaks her as a character. It's like they've given nothing to do. What they have given her to do has been poorly done. And equally, when they do give her something to do, it's not her from what we know in the book. It's not honouring her, the Alicent we know from the books.
Yeah, I mean, it might be sort of strong to say, but after that scene between them both in episode 8, I've come to conclusion I will not like either of these characters.
No,
in season 4, I think that both of their characters are ruined.
Yeah,
and they're going to have to get Sarah Hess off the bloody team if they want to fix it.
I fully agree. I think they've ruined Alicent, they've ruined Rhaenyra, and they've ruined Daemon this season as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Daemon is easier to bring back to that Daemon we want, that Daemon we know.
Correct, but they've made.
I don't think it's possible for Alicent or Rhaenyra.
I agree. The fact that they've gone too far down this route now of saying these two don't want war, they just want peace, that completely goes against what they want in the books.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand them giving stuff for Daemon to do because he's not that much involved while he's at Harrenhal.
Yes.
You know, we don't get much of him. But with Alicent, it was said specifically that while she was like captive in King's Landing, she was steadfast in refusing any type of agreement or deal or anything like that in the book.
Yep.
And now we have this Alicent that has purposely gone to Rhaenyra, you know, gone to Dragonstone. Why the Maester gave her a bloody ship or whatever he gave her, I don't know.
Yep.
And surrendered, but then not really surrendered because then she let her go. Aegon's gone from King's Landing. It's just Aemon left. Aemon's going to the Riverlands. So really, what's going to happen once Rhaenyra captures? I have a feeling we're going to get a kiss scene between Alicent and Rhaenyra in season 3.
I do as well. You're right.
I think we're going to get more than a kiss scene.
I thought we were going to get that at the end of this episode.
Lady, it's like Daemon killed your bloody grandson.
And Ashley's like, I'm sure, didn't she say, do you want to come with us?
Oh, yeah, you should come with us. It's like, your son killed my son. Oh, it's turning out to be a fanfic.
I'm telling you, man, it's not a good ending.
There was good moments in this episode. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, worst episode.
I think worst episode. I think any changes you want to make to the tier list before we lock it in. I mean, S tier we've got Lord of the Tides with that Viserys scene, King of the Narrow Sea, which had pretty much.
Do you know what? I think season 1, episode 1 might be S tier. Now that I'm looking back on it, because it really did bring us back to Westeros, and it was the perfect start. It got everyone hyped.
I can agree with that. I mean, I said it at the start of this. You know, it's arguably, apart from Lord of the Tides, my favourite episode.
Yeah, it's just hopefully something changes with season 3.
I'm hoping we get more road prints. I'm hoping we get the battles are honoured for what we know in the book. I'm hoping we get the God's Eye battle that we know and love, and I'm hoping the fall of King's Landing is either. I don't think we'll get it. We might get it referenced at the end of the season, maybe.
Yeah, there's supposed to be 3 big things happening next season. One is the Gullet. The other is obviously the King's Landing capturing it.
Yep. For
the Blacks, and then the Battle of God's Eye.
It's going to be unreal. That is, if they stick the landing, I really hope they do. But it's only going to be 8 episodes again, apparently.
I really think they need to go back to 10. I think this season showed the weakness of 8 episodes. And I mean, what happened with Game of Thrones? It got smaller and smaller.
Yep.
You know, season 7 had 7 episodes. Season 8 had 6.
And it gets quicker.
Both seasons are ranked amongst the worst.
I agree. We just don't want that again, do we?
Yeah, but I mean, they control how much time they have. They control if they want it to be an hour and a half or an hour. They control that. Pretty long episodes this season. It's just some of them are filled with nothing.
No, I think they need to book their ideas up for season 3. I think in terms of season 1 and season 2, though, we've got a pretty good list there, pretty good tier list. And yeah, man, I think we're going to wrap things up. Subscribe to both of us if you're not part of the communities, and we'll catch you on the next one. If you enjoy the content, consider dropping a like and subscribe so you never miss an upload. Catch you on the next one. Cheers.